here at Six Silver Seals, and I'd like to introduce to you Nixie Foxtail. Nixie is the newest member of the Six Silver Seals team, and for those of you who are subscribed to Patreon at tiers where you get a monthly reading, you now have your choice between myself and Nixie for who you'd like to get the reading from. We're glad to finally have you on the team, Nixie.
Yeah, I'm glad to be a part of this. We've talked about this for so long and just haven't really gotten into the mechanics of it, I guess. But I'm
I
excited.
think even just getting you to sit down for this was a little bit of a
a
process, to
little
be
bit,
honest.
but we got the ball rolling now, so that's good.
Yeah, which is always the important thing, is to get the ball rolling.
Yes.
So for those of you who you might be a little bit familiar with Nixie, you might have seen her in her work as Spokona Fox on Instagram or as Winbig725 on TikTok. But for those who are maybe not so familiar, why don't you tell us a little bit about your practice?
Well, I'd say probably like 2 or 3 years ago, I kind of learned that I am an empath. I've been one my whole life, but I guess I didn't really know what was happening, but now I'm very much aware, and I'm going through sort of an awakening with that, which an empath is really the best way for me to describe it. And what I experience is that I can pick up on the emotions and the energies of the people around me. And so really most of my practice is learning how to control that. And not really control, but like understand how it works, shield myself, and learn how I can use that gift to help other people, give them guidance, things like that.
Interesting. Okay, now you say like awakening. Is this something that like you think anybody could do, or?
I think we're all affected by the energies of other people in some way. I think that an empath is someone who's just more in tune with it. So I think everybody has some level of empathic ability or the potential for it, but I think that there are some people who are just more in tune with it than others, and yeah, I don't know.
Good. So in a similar vein to the way some people might say that like everyone is a little bit psychic,
Yeah,
kind of that same kind of thing.
everyone's got a little bit, you know, how you just walk into a room and you can kind of just be like, okay, something doesn't feel right, or you meet someone and they just kind of rub you the wrong way. It's like that, but empaths are like a much higher level where sometimes we can like pinpoint exactly what's happening. So
I see.
yeah.
So what sort of services can or content can the patrons of Six Silver Seals, as well as the rest of the folks watching on YouTube, look forward to from you? What can we expect to see?
Well, I really enjoy doing oracle readings. I've dabbled in tarot a little bit, but I prefer oracle. It's just an easier way for me to use my intuition to guide me along with the cards. And it clicks more for me, so I like to do oracle readings. I'm hopefully going to be doing oracle pick-a-card readings on YouTube. I think that would be a really unique thing to offer. And then I also do what I call intuitive mixed media readings. Basically, I will sit down with somebody and they can ask a specific question, or we can just do sort of a general type thing, and I will paint their energy, or whatever media, painting, coloring with colored pencils, crayons, drawings, things like that. I can do it digitally, but it's really just like painting their energy, or which is kind of what I'm feeling, and then interpreting it for them after the fact. And then they would also walk away with that piece of artwork for themselves.
Interesting. So you say that you do oracle readings rather than tarot. What's the big distinction between the two?
That's a good question. I think that every tarot deck has the same set of cards. They all have different energies and different messaging, I think, but they sort of subscribe to like a rough guideline or framework, if that makes sense.
Right, so like the hanged man is always the hanged man, no matter how he's depicted.
Yes, but with oracle decks, they're all a little bit different, and so you can have goddesses in one deck and foxes in another, or dragons and other animal spirits. And I think it just picks up on different spiritual energy in a way, and it relies a little bit more on intuition. And because I guess tarot can too, to sort of know what the exact message, because I know different tarot cards, like you can have more than one interpretation for a tarot card, and you can for an oracle card as well. But it just, for me, it just seems much more intuitive based, and depending on the deck, a little bit softer in a way than tarot can be sometimes.
What do you mean by that?
Well, again, it really varies by oracle deck, but I have a few oracle decks that just, their messages just seem to be a little gentler, coming from just like a softer, more feminine place than some other decks that are more blunt and to the point, if that makes sense. But I really don't think that's a distinction between tarot and oracle necessarily, as it is just deck to deck, because different tarot decks can be like that too. So.
Gotcha. Now, you were talking before about the intuitive painting. Tell us a little bit more about how you stumbled into that, because that sounds really interesting.
Well, I actually had a friend bring it up that they knew somebody that did something similar to this, that they would, I think, listen to music while they were painting for people. And I just thought that sounded kind of interesting, and like it just kind of like piqued my interest a little bit. But then I actually started doing them for myself, where I would, I actually started with nail polish because I didn't have paint. And I had this little piece of paper, and I was just kind of like picking colors and drawing shapes, and it, like, I almost enter a trance-like state when I'm doing it, where I'm not really aware of what I'm painting. I'm just doing it, and then after the fact, looking at it, and be like, okay, so here's these shapes, and here's these things, and like drawings a little bit from like tea leaf readings and what those shapes mean, and just like, you know, numerology or runes or just different meanings that we've associated with shapes and figures and colors and things like that, and just putting together an interpretation of the painting along with my intuition of what I was experiencing while I was painting.
Gotcha. So this is a little bit more agnostic to kind of a particular spirituality or worldview then, in ways that, like, you know, a tarot deck can be geared at a specific group of people, or like you mentioned, the runes from, I'm guessing, Norse mythology?
Yes.
Yeah. So, like, you know, it's a little bit more kind of, they say system agnostic. It's not meant to adhere to any one particular worldview. It's just whatever you pick up on the connection between you and the recipient of the painting.
Yeah, it looks like it's really because I'm an empath and I can pick up on their energies, and not just their energies, but all energies in a sense. That it's almost like a channeled message, but not quite. But it's just painting the energy and the messages that my intuition is picking up on.
Gotcha. One last question. You talk about sensing the energy of other people. Do you see that as like auras, or how do you? What is the input, I guess, for that? What does that feel like to you?
Well, it varies from person to person. For me, it's actually clairsentience, which is clear feeling. I feel them almost as if they are my own emotions. And before I knew that's what was happening, before I knew I was an empath, I thought that they were my emotions, and that I was just experiencing these rapid mood swings sometimes. That's not to say that everybody that experiences mood swings, that's what's happening, because there are very serious conditions and mental illnesses and things that do cause that. So I want to stress the importance of talking to your doctor if you're experiencing that. I don't want to put it in anybody's head that because they're experiencing mood swings that they might be an empath, although it's very possible. But just, I want to make sure that that's clear, that I'm not a doctor in any way, shape, or form. So if you're experiencing mood swings, please talk to a professional.
One of those things where if you hear hoofbeats, think horses and not zebras.
Yes, exactly. Always go to the logical before you go to the metaphysical. But for me, that's what it was, is I was taking on people's emotions as my own. I actually had a lot of past relationships where I knew that my partner was angry and upset before they would even say anything, but I thought that I was just angry and upset. And so it was it made it for very difficult relationships. But that's how I feel them as my own, and it took a lot for me. And I mean, I'm still learning how to differentiate somebody else's emotions from my own. But other empaths do see auras, or they just know things, or some of them even hear things. So it really does vary empath to empath. But for me, most of the time, it's clairsentience, where I just feel it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Well, thanks a lot for sitting down for this.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
absolutely.
We're looking forward to having you as part of the team.
I'm excited to start putting out some content for everybody.
Keep your eyes on this space for more from Nixie and us, obviously more from myself. We're both very excited to bring 6 Silver Seals into this new era for you. And as always, we will see you next time. Be kind to yourselves and one another.